All right, so I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. So welcome to the May 20th regular council meeting for the city of Columbiana. And we'll go ahead and get started. I'll ask Councilman Rustin to lead us in the invocation.
Sure, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to join tonight as a group. Lord, we always appreciate that. Lord, thank you for the people that are represented tonight. And Lord, we thank you for the season that we're about to enter with the city and the events that are planned and the great weather and just outdoor activity and the energy it brings. Lord, we thank you so much for that. And as always, God, thank you, Lord, for the people within the city that make it go on a day-to-day basis and the ones that protect it and all the citizens. Lord, I ask you to be with the meeting tonight. Let the things be discussed for the benefit of those here in the city. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll go ahead and let everybody take a look at the agenda. We have a fairly busy agenda, and while you're doing that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Little. Here. Myself. Here. Rustin.
Here.
King. Here. Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Mitchell.
Here. Give you a few more seconds to take a look at that. As always, the first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. This time we have two sets of minutes to approve: the minutes of the 6th May regular council meeting and the minutes of the 12th May special call council meeting. The council has a copy of the minutes in their package. So the opportunity to review those. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If there are none, let the record show the minutes are approved as written. And we'll start with our department reports. And Chief, you got the floor first.
So, everything's pretty good for the police department. We have one on the job injury. We had a vehicle wreck. Justin Thomas was rear-ended by a garbage truck a few weeks ago. He's still out. Back pain and some headaches. But he's on the mend, we hope. Do have a current opening. One of our officers left, went back to Silicaga, Kyle Smith. And so we do have an opening for that. Besides that, everything else is in good working order. Training's still on the way. Issues and concerns. So school's out. I'm sure teachers and kids alike are happy. We just ask that people please watch your speed in residential areas. Kids are out playing, especially around Springs Crossing, around the 500 Club. We're going to have officers out, double check the speed, make sure people slow down, especially while the kids are out and about. Told you about the police officer position open. Besides that, there's not much going on. Things are nice and calm and kind of the way we like it.
How long has the position been vacant now?
2 days. Yeah, he left Sunday night would have been his last night. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just as an aside, during one of our breakout sessions where we had get all the mayors from various towns together at the league and chat about issues, police officer hiring was a big issue for almost everybody. Knock on wood, I told them we have been doing pretty well. So hopefully we'll get this filled.
Yeah, we got a stack application, so.
Yeah, and I explained to them that we are having pretty good success getting retired officers from the surrounding community, from bigger communities, retired early, come to work for us. So some of these were people in towns that were far more rural than us, and they just didn't have that pool. Okay. Any questions for the chief? All right. Thanks. Admin.
Everything is going good with admin. Budget's good, fully staffed. Under highlights and opportunities, the municipal election is August 26th. That will be at the rec building. Qualifying for candidates is June 10th through the 24th at City Hall. And then on the bottom is our April budget. The top section is general fund, bottom section is all other funds, and budget is looking good.
Any questions for the clerk? All right. Court. Judge?
According to Ms. Jerry, we are ahead of collections year-to-date from last year. I have not looked at that personally, but she told me about that today. Well, it's highlighted, it is a highlight, it's a regular thing. Our next court's May the 27th. We've had an uptick in attendance to our driving school. We have been offering our first-time offenders with authorization of the police department. They want to do driving school, they do it here. It's about the same amount of money for us, relatively speaking. As I mentioned last time, as a matter of fact, the next day, Wednesday, after I talked last time, I went to a meeting with 10 judges from all over the state, and it was in Clanton. And the consensus of that 10-judge meeting was nobody's coming to court. I mean, it is a major problem statewide. Everybody's following the same procedure we are. You send a failure to appear, and then you issue a warrant, and they don't come to, then you pick them up, and you have the expense of housing. But that is a statewide problem. It's not unique to us. As I said, Terry informed me that we're ahead of where we were last year. Last year was not a great year for us budget-wise. A couple of things, and I'm going to tell Terry thank you. She has made some relationships and inroads with the county that we've never had before. I've never had a magistrate do that before. Where we have people that we do not have the resources to deal with, have sometimes fairly significant mental issues. We've had a case where a father assaulted his daddy twice. Now, if I'd assaulted my daddy, he would have killed me and been done with it. But that's not the way it works now. World War II veteran, Pacific, he would have simply shot me and been done with it. But that's not the way the world works now. And there's been 2 instances, maybe 3, that you have reached out to the, what is that guy's title?
He's the mental health liaison with Shelby County.
Yeah.
In the probate court.
Right. And I've had 2 meetings with the probate judge. One meeting with this gentleman online, on the phone. And he is somebody that has some connections and has been able to get a couple of these folks into proper treatment that we do not have the resources for. And they, in essence, if we release them, he takes them, and they're on the county dime at that point in time. They're not a prisoner anymore. The only condition is I don't have to drop a charge. I just have to dismiss them from jail, which is, you can do that in 10 seconds. So that has been somewhat helpful. We've never had anybody really to reach out on that situation before. But that's people that come into this court and the people that Chief deal with have fairly significant mental issues. It has really kind of in the last few years become a bit of a problem that we're really not equipped to deal with. But other than that, I will do municipal judge training sometime in October or something.
I haven't gotten to September.
He'll be on the coast. And totally as an aside, completely unrelated to this issue, I had an opportunity Sunday to have lunch with a guy named Alan Benefield. I don't know if that rings any bells to anybody, but his brother was a very good friend of mine, passed away a couple of years ago, and I had a chance to have dinner with him Sunday. Alan, you may have heard that name. He is the head of APOS for the entire state of Alabama. Okay, he is somebody that speaks to the governor every single day, and he and I were talking about issues involving court and statewide. In every court, if people are not in jail, attendance is a problem. Circuit court, district court, and our court. So the problem is not unique to us, and we play the hand you're dealt. We deal with it as we can deal with it, and we do the best we can with it. But we had a pretty good court last week. Had a lot of people show up, and got a whole lot of cases handled, and, everybody's doing a good job, and so, it rolls on. It just rolls on.
Did the judges, that as they came together, other than acknowledge the problem, did they come up with any ideas on?
There was everything from, there's a unique situation in Clanton. Judge Hardesty, who was a district judge and retired from the district court bench. They needed a municipal court judge in Clanton because their municipal court had gotten in very significant difficulty. So she, at the mayor's request, came on and took that position. And her comments to us, the rest of us, who had never been anything but municipal judges, it was like 9 of us, and this former district court judge is now a municipal judge. She said, I had no idea what you guys deal with. He said, we always have not had this problem. I said, you're a district judge, you're a state judge. You've got more resources, you've got other things you can do, and we're somewhat limited. And she says, I'm now having the same problem you guys are. Now, the solutions ranged, it was a large range of solutions. There is one judge in a small town. He defer prosecutes every single case. It doesn't matter what it is. He lets you defer your prosecution. As a consequence of that, he never has to arrest anybody because nobody has ever not come to court. He says, if you come to court one time, I'm going to dismiss your case if you will sign your deferred prosecution form. You pay a little fee over 9 months, and the case is dismissed. That's a solution, but it's not fair to the police department. The police department is doing their job. The cases need to be prosecuted. Okay, that's my position. But it's a solution to the problem. You never have to put anybody in jail. Most everybody is following our lead. We only have certain tools available to us. You send the failure to appear. If they don't show up, we issue a warrant. They're picked up. We have to see them within 48 hours. And the cat starts chasing his tail again. So this kind of, but there is no consensus solution to the problem. Even the people with city jails, even the larger courts with city jails, that have the resources to man staff and do all those sort of things, the statistics are not much different. Even though they have a jail that they can house somebody in, like a city flight plan that doesn't have a city jail. The solution to their problem, people not showing up, is not a whole lot different. If they arrest them, at least they're in their city hall, they're in the jail, the basement. So from that standpoint, but no, there's no real consensus of how to solve the problem. It's a societal problem, it's not necessarily just a court problem.
Any other questions for the judge?
No question. Very good.
Thanks, sir. Public Works.
Everybody's going good in public works. We're staying busy with the summertime stuff, cutting grass, picking brush up. Like I said last, we pick brush up every day with these storms we got coming through the town. We get it picked up, it's right back out there again. Other than that, I know we're just staying busy, and me and the mayor's talked about it. If y'all know any young kids that's coming out of school that wants a summertime job, just to cut grass and stuff, we'd be willing to sit down and talk to them and give them a chance to cut grass. That's one thing we stay behind on, trying to keep the garbage picked up and brushes and grass cut and stuff.
Gotta be 18.
No.
No.
And yeah, I'm gonna find they'd be doing cutting grass, I would put them on back of the garbage truck or anything
I got somebody.
they'd be
And they'd be supervised.
strictly weed eating.
I got somebody.
Okay. Any other questions for Alan? All right, thanks, sir. What boards met? I didn't check the calendar. Any?
Planning and zoning met on the 8th.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about that. Is there anything else besides what we're gonna do tonight that was covered at the meeting?
We had a public hearing for, Gallant Lake. It is on Chelsea Road and Lakewood Drive. They are, annexing one parcel's already in the city. But when we do the annexation, we're also gonna do rezoning of the other parcel. They're both no zoning and they will go to A1. And so that'll be at the last council meeting in June.
Is this the one that is gonna have half dozen or so like
Yes,
state
and these are
lots?
the largest state lots.
Okay.
What's the name of it again?
Gallant Lake.
Any others? Okay. All right, so discussion. One of the things that I asked Charlene to put on the agenda for us to just kick about for today is I got a letter, and I've had lots of comments about the condition of sidewalks in town, and also the letter was asking us to build more sidewalks in residential areas. This picture I put on this chart, this is not Columbiana, this is an extreme example, but one of our problems with many of our sidewalks in particularly our legacy residential areas is we have a lot of large trees very close to the sidewalks and their roots are tearing them up. And that's creating some maintenance challenges for us. And then there's the issue of people wanting more built outside the core city places, typically near the schools like Mildred Street for kids to walk. Sidewalks are extremely expensive, difficult because again the trees to maintain. And if we decide to put some additional funds into our budget in '26, we need to be aware of that. We do need money in there to fix the ones that are dangerous. And did we get a chance to work on the one on Thompson Street then? Okay. So we have one on Thompson Street that needs some attention right now, and there are several others that need attention. But I wanted to hear the council's opinion on our thoughts about adding additional sidewalks.
Haven't we, in the last couple of years, put money in the budget?
Yeah, we always put about 50,000 in there, and the only thing that we really talked about doing is up by the high school. One end of that's been done, the other end hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Put that 50,000 in there now, we just about it. We're supposed to make the piece what's wrong on top of the tree up there now.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that, and I looked at it today, Myrtle Street, yeah, that's a lot of activity for kids and stuff right through there. I know.
Mildred or Myrtle?
Mildred. Okay. And then the road going down by the Board of Education, that's another one. But I think not so much, what's that road?
East College.
East College. But Mildred, I know right there in front of like the Pearson's house or two houses down, there's a big oak tree there. So I mean, and it's bucked up there. Down where the oak tree is, it's really not bucked up. But I think if you probably if you did some type of digging there, that tree may have to go. I mean, because those roots, and that's what's bucking it up, or that. So that's always been a concern of mine, is that do we get rid of the trees to put the sidewalk? I mean, obviously that's a nice tree, and that's a big oak tree. But the ones on College, those have a lot of pedestrian traffic as well. And I think those I looked at those again today, and those really doesn't have a lot of roots on it. So I mean, it's less roots versus what Mildred is. But I do think, we say we were going to try to do those in-house because it gets more expensive if you go out externally.
Well, we can do some of it.
Yeah.
But I still think we ought to take a look. There's some people who at least claim to have affordable sidewalk repair systems, and so we ought to give them a chance to take a look at it. I drive East College when I come in every morning, and there are several areas where there are tree roots impeding tearing up the sidewalk.
You want to get the trees back at least probably 10 foot from the sidewalk.
Yeah, and so you're spot on. I mean, if you're going to put sidewalks in residential areas, you're going to have to tell the property owners the tree's going to have to go.
The only other, again, like I said, the West Colleges seem to be less roots there. There's one down here right by the high school that we mentioned earlier in the year. I don't know, it's right there at the corner of Mildred and it cuts
Washington or
it's that cut through road up
You know
there.
what we're doing with Whiteville, that right there at the end on left.
Right just on the corner.
Jefferson and-
Yeah, Jefferson Street. So I think that one doesn't involve a lot of roofs, so that's one, and it's bucked up right there. So I think we need to identify a plan and say, what do we wanna do, what can we do, and then make sure that's prioritized. Cause I mean, in my simple mind, I don't think sidewalks are very hard to do versus a paving project, but it takes money, and I think it takes just a plan to get that done.
I think they're very difficult.
Or they may be, I don't
And,
know.
and the only reason I say that, I lived in the historic district of a town one time. It was a different state, had different rules. As a general rule in Alabama, the sidewalk's considered part of the street, as a general rule.
Sure.
There are some exceptions to that. Which means that, if we have the responsibility to maintain the streets, we're supposed to maintain the sidewalks. This particular town in this particular state, or city, I should say, in that state, they had a lot more flexibility, and they said, we're done with sidewalks. It was a town in central Texas, they had a lot of live oak trees, they have very invasive roots, and it had just destroyed these sidewalks, and they said, and we ain't gonna fix them either. And it was dangerous, it was tough.
Would grants for, to
Yes.
that point, would grants for roads apply to sidewalks too?
I don't know, but they might, and there are some grants I've seen that are available for sidewalks. So clearly, we will go out and pursue every grant opportunity, but I think what we need to do is what you said. I think we need to do an inventory of all of our sidewalks, and let's look at the ones that really, really need repair first.
Right.
And I think that's the first step before we add any new sidewalks.
And I think collectively, you're gonna find out they're right around really this area.
They're gonna be in what I call the legacy neighborhood, where they got a lot of old mature trees and stuff, and old sidewalks.
I think it's essential that we just put a prioritized plan. If we're gonna hit one, this one needs to be the one, and then it just rolls down the line.
Milton has two sides of the street, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
Does anybody know why? Why it was done that way? It stops like at the Pearson house, I think, somewhere around.
It does. Or the Lowe House. I think the last one's at the end of the Lowe's house.
Yeah, right there, that one, and it jumps over.
And it picks up
to
across the
other side of the street.
Yeah.
They said they wouldn't let them put it down through there.
Yeah, I think we need to prioritize this.
so I think what we'll do is we'll prepare, my recommendation is we prepare that list for discussion, because we're gonna be starting the budgeting process soon. And we can take it under consideration then. And we're probably gonna need a lot of pictures to say, hey, here's the bad ones. And again, that's not gonna be Hannah, it's just an extreme example, but that shows you what trees can do to the sidewalk. And then, and we can look at them, we can look at the pictures, we can show where they are, people can go by and look at them, we can decide we wanna do this, this, and this. And we will probably need to get some, sample pricing on that too, so we have an idea what we need to budget.
Yeah, I guess when I say it's easier process, I'm thinking just dig a footing, put some gravel, lay some concrete. But I mean, that's,
You gotta meet all
yeah.
the,
Does every sidewalk have to be ADA
It
compliant?
does now, yeah. So, residential neighborhoods, as a general rule, can get by and be grandfathered. But theoretically, the ones like in the downtown area, you're not even supposed to be grandfathered there, they're all supposed to be ADA. And I think most of ours are.
you can't have 2%, you got a 2% fall to the side and 7% going up.
Yeah,
Gotta be where it's easy for somebody in a wheelchair to push yourself up.
right. That was the challenge with the far end of the one on Ferry Road in front of the high school, is because we basically were gonna have to tear up the whole doggone sidewalk to make the grade.
Did we, over there by your house, that sidewalk project going from the funeral home, was that an old grant project?
That was with Al Dodd, and we don't wanna get they will. Well, you was here when all that went on, we still getting bills from stuff that they haven't known for us. Now that we just, they'll change their paperwork, and when they do, well, we'll change this year, and that's gonna cost you this. We could've done that around through there when it all got said and done with a contractor cheaper than we did through Al. And got it done a whole lot quicker.
All right, any other ideas or comments about the sidewalks? I think Ricky's suggestion is a good one about the plan.
I had several people pleased.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so we're about to postpone the regular meeting to have a public hearing on rezoning. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the script here for us to suspend the regular council meeting and open up the public hearing for the rezoning. So bear with me. So proper notice of the regularly scheduled meeting of the Columbiana City Council was given in advance of this public meeting, and the notice remained posted through this scheduled meeting. I'll now entertain a motion to suspend this regularly scheduled council meeting in order to have a public hearing. Okay, and we need to have unanimous consent of all members, so I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Lindley? Mizell? Preston?
Yes.
King? Phillips? Hammond?
Yes. Okay, so the council meeting suspended, and I now call to order the public hearing to hear from anyone. Before I do that, I kind of want to give you a picture here, so I'll put this stuff up here. So what we're looking at doing is rezoning this large piece of property here from M1 to B1. This is the location of the proposed Tractor Supply. So here's College Street. This is oriented north-south. This drawing, unfortunately, is not, so you're going to have to kind of tilt your head to see how this would be. But the entrance into the location of the Tractor Supply, which would be right here, this is the Dollar General, this is the Dollar General. And this lot right here is also going to be part of this property, and that's where the entrance to Tractor Supply is, this parcel. This parcel is zoned B1 already. And so the purchasers of this property, they haven't closed yet, okay? And they expect to do that very soon. The purchasers of this property want it to be combined all into one parcel instead of two separate parcels and to have the same zoning. So they're going with the business zoning, which would work for Tractor Supply. So that's just sort of, you get an idea of what's going on. So now what I'll do is call to order the public hearing, and says, I call to order the public hearing to hear from anyone speaking for or against the rezoning of this tax parcel, which is 217-262-001-001.005 from M1 to B1. The property is located behind 306 College Street, which is this right here, West College Street. For the council members, just a reminder, this is not the time for debate. This is for us to hear for people speaking for or against, and when we reconvene the council meeting, we can debate the issue. So right now, I'll ask, would anyone like to speak in favor of this rezoning request? And if you would, state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is John Michael Wall. I'm with the applicant, HSC Columbiana. I'll keep it brief, but if there's any questions or anything like that, happy to answer them. But excited about the project, looking forward to getting going, and excited to get Tractor Supply part of this community.
And so you're in favor of it?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. Okay, is there anyone else that'd like to speak for the rezoning request? Is there anyone here who'd like to speak against the rezoning request? Okay, so good. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Make that motion.
Okay, and all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned, and I'll now call back to order the regular council meeting. So, any questions about this now from the council?
Does 304 and 300, does it apply to this too, or no? Is that
No,
okay.
just 306 here. Okay.
How big is that parcel? Do we know?
Oh, yes, we do. It's on here somewhere. Do you know it off the top of your head?
No, sir, not off the top of my head. I'm trying to find it on this.
I have looked it up, and
It's not for-
it's on here somewhere. I think it's in the,
It's
Ordinance.
not on there, no, it's on the, application.
it's on the application.
Yeah, just that wooded area right there. I'm just curious. So
It is
It says total,
13.24 acres. 13.
This parcel. Yeah, I don't know what that little one is.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I didn't mention it before, but we're gonna talk about it next. Pay attention to this little tip of Phillips Circle, because it's the next item on the agenda. It actually extends into this parcel that we are rezoning, but we're gonna take care of that, I believe, in the next item on the agenda. There's already a cul-de-sac there, and it's maintained by the city. I don't think anybody realized that it encroached upon that property. So we will talk about that in a few minutes. So, any other questions or comments about this particular parcel?
Will that be the only access to the, yeah, is that the one just coming off West College? That's gonna be the only, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is right on the exit.
Any other questions or comments? All right, so this is the ordinance, and I will introduce it and then ask for a motion to adopt it. So, city has adopted a comprehensive zoning ordinance, and certain property behind 306 West College Street is currently owned by the Barber Companies Incorporated, and again, there is a contract for the sale of that property that we just discussed, and they should be closing very soon. We've held a public hearing. The Planning Commission has recommended, they held a public hearing, has recommended that the request of the property owner that the parcel of the soon-to-be property owner be rezoned from M1 to B1, subject to certain conditions, and we held our public hearing to consider the recommendation. And so therefore, we're going to ordain that the mayor and the council of the city of Columbiana will rezone the district boundaries, and we will amend our zoning ordinance appropriately, such that the parcel that's identified here and that we talked about earlier on the zoning map will be all B1. And obviously, it's subject to the following conditions: that we comply with all rules, regulations, policies, and the city clerk will publish or post the ordinances required by law. Is there, if there are no questions, is there a motion?
Make a motion.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We need a roll call for this? Yeah. Okay, so all in favor of the rezoning of this parcel from M1 to B1, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion has been, the ordinance has been adopted. Okay, so this is addressing that issue of Phillips Circle. And if you can see, this is the boundaries of the property as it that we just rezoned. And so the actual little cul-de-sac of Phillips Circle protrudes into those boundaries of that parcel. So the property owner wants to basically grant an easement around Phillips Circle and this property dedicated to the city of Columbiana at no cost. And so this will become part of the city of Columbiana, and all this other stuff will be part of the property where the Tractor Supply will be located. Okay. It says, whereas a developer is in possession of the Phillips Circle has proposed conveying a portion of Phillips Circle to the city for no compensation, and the City Council of Columbiana, municipal corporation within Alabama, it's the judgment of the city that it's in the public interest and necessary and expedient that the city acquire the roadway of Phillips Circle and all associated rights of ways, which is that easement surrounding the actual cul-de-sac, on, over, across, and upon the following described parcels. And so the parcel is described. I intentionally put all the stuff in small print because even if I'd put it in large print, it would have been too much to read. But you have a copy of this in your package, and you know what the parcel is because we've looked at it. And the property subject to the public right-of-way easement is further described in Exhibit A, which was the plat or the tract drawing that I just showed you. The obtainment of the foregoing tracts is necessary and in the best interest of the citizens of the city of Columbiana, and it will contribute to the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens. And therefore, the city shall hereby accept the dedication of said permanent public right-of-way easement. So, with your approval, I need someone to enter this resolution into the docket and we'll vote on it.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 052504. It's authorizing acceptance of right-of-way easement for a portion of Phillips Circle.
Second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so the resolution's adopted. And we now have some more grass to cut out. Okay, other city business. I put a couple of things on here. At the last council meeting, when we had public comment at the end, school bus driver brought up an issue of concern with this section of Industrial Parkway coming off of Depot Street and it terminates into County Road 47 or Chelsea Road. Concern about it being very, very narrow, and there is, I put that circle in the wrong place. I don't know how it slid down there, but the area that we're talking about is really right here. There is literally, the road is right on the edge of a ditch, and it's kind of falling off and breaking up there. And when the school bus is traveling in this direction, if another car should come from the other direction, that road is not wide enough for them to pass. It's a very, very narrow road. So I went down, looked at it, took some pictures, and as I was looking at the GIS, what I noticed, I put in very heavy green. All of this, according to the Shelby County GIS, is within the Norfolk Southern Railroad right-of-way. And the railroad has enormous power. They have their own police power in that right-of-way. They can tell us to get the heck out, and they have, when we're out there trying to do work and maintenance on this sort of stuff. So there's a couple things that we're trying to do. So this is a work in process. These boundaries on the GIS are not exactly precise. They're usually shifted just a little bit. And if you come over here to the southwest, where Industrial Parkway, if you were to turn left off of Depot Street, you can see that this shows the boundary right against the edge of the road. My guess is that this right-of-way for the railroad actually is shifted down this way. And we're going to try to get the precise boundaries of that, and the city attorney's working with that. He's also been in contact with Norfolk Southern. And my guess is this road is all within the city. And right here where it goes off the photograph, it actually splits off. And this part running down this way, the rights of way split off, and the road veers to a little bit more to the due west. And so the railroad track would be in the right of way, and the road would be in the right of way going that way. And my guess is it's probably even in the right of way here. But if we shift this down the same amount, I'm still not sure that the road is actually outside of the Norfolk Southern right of way, which would require us to get some sort of agreement in place. Don't know why the city paved this in the past, unless there was some, but chances are we didn't get that agreement. But the attorney says we need to get an agreement with Norfolk Southern, and he's established a contact there, and hopefully they'll work with us on that. In the same way, if we're going to repair any of this pavement right here, we've got to get their permission to do that. Now, so what do we do in the interim? Well, school's out, and that helps, so that'll help with the school buses. But another thing we could possibly do, if we can't solve this conundrum, is we can talk to, because the residential areas where there are kids that the bus needs to pick up are down at the other end towards County Road 47. And that is within a city right of way, and it's not in the railroad right of way. It's just this portion right here that I believe is going to be in the railroad right of way. We might consider talking to the Board of Education about potentially making some changes to the bus route down there. I know it's probably convenient for him, because he's doing whatever down in this area, and then he probably comes down Depot Street and then he turns right. But it is pretty unsafe because it's extremely narrow and the bus could just barely get by. And he said at the meeting that he has to stop in order to let other cars pass, and they're having to drive off the road. And we've had some issues, as we know, with others who complain about narrow alleys and streets, and people actually have to run into the grass in order to pass. So anyway, just want to let everybody know we're working to try to sort this out with Norfolk Southern. The other thing that was brought up by the same gentleman was the length of time of the traffic light on College Street. And Al went and timed it. I don't remember, said it was 30 seconds one way, 35. That didn't seem excessive to me. So, but I'm a trust but verify kind of guy, so I went and timed it myself. And it's not consistent. It is the light is red as long as a minute and a half. In fact, we sat through 2 cycles where it was red for a minute and a half, and then the next cycle it was only red for 30 seconds. So I don't get it. You were going to look into whether or not. Yeah. So I think a minute and a half's too long. I think in the 45-second range is pretty common.
45 seconds is normal.
So we're going to see if we can't fix that issue with that.
Is it different timing for different times of the day type of deal, or no?
Well, it could be.
It should be just 45 seconds throughout the day?
The problem you got that stuff that's in that box is so old and stuff, that's gonna be the problem we run into is it's not that stuff is to the point you can't repair it, you won't have to replace it, it's gonna get costly.
But, especially because of our right turn on red, I think we need to get that light fixed. Or we'll be changing it back, or no right on red. We'll be changing it back in a heartbeat. But I think we can get that fixed, so that's being worked. I just want to let everybody know, Shelby County EMA sent out a severe storm advisory for tonight. Shelby County is under an enhanced, which is out of 1 through 5, it puts us in 3. Says there is the potential for tornado watches. When I left home to come to the meeting, there was already watches north of us. So just gave the chief, you were going to get in touch with the other chief, and just giving folks a heads up, be on standby for the storm shelters for tonight. So those were the other items I wanted to bring up. Is there anything else anybody else would like to?
Yeah, 2 things. So I have referred 2 potential fire people to the chief, so hopefully that works out.
Great.
I think both of them are interested in going to be a full-time fireman. That's a career, so hopefully that works out. The other thing is, can we get some like heavy-duty trash cans at the pickleball courts, the tennis courts, or maybe even a city trash can or something? I don't think there's any out there now, and
Some of them barrels, the propane gets drove around the place.
Yeah, I agree with him. I think they need to be heavy duty.
because I think there was probably like 50 kids
Yes.
up there last night, and I mean, obviously, you 50 kids, there's gonna be a few things of trash there, and I think, anyway, I think if it's more convenient, we can make throwing trash away better, so if we can put a couple trash cans up there, I think it'd be
The
beneficial.
beautification board was wanting to put a table. Do they have that table?
We just ain't got one.
Okay,
Good.
so we definitely need trash cans. We put that table.
They are enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah. Table, the hole, or you get thrown off in the ditch.
That's a good suggestion. What was the other?
The firemen. And
Oh, okay. All right. Any other business anybody want to bring up? Okay. All right, mayor's report. On the 9th of May, I had a virtual meeting, myself and 58 Inc. with DigiHost. They're the folks that have the crypto mining operation out on Industrial Parkway and are wanting to expand and build a large data center. So we talked about that, plans as far as working with Alabama Power, working with the state, what types of incentives might be available to them. 13th through 15th, I was at the Alabama League of Municipalities Convention. This is the 90th anniversary. It's kind of a big deal. We had this huge, looked like a wedding cake, anniversary cake. It was really good. This picture that was taken on the first night, so it was in Huntsville, and this was at the Probst Arena in the Von Braun Center in Huntsville. And usually the hosting city will have a reception on the first night. So this is Mayor Corey Wells Miller. Gosh, I've forgotten. Anyway, he's from the small town of Douglas, and I'll get you his name. And the reason that Douglas is kind of south of Gunnersville, and it's due west of Boaz. It's a little town. But he is actually running next year when we have the state election. He's announced his candidacy for the state ag commissioner. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention so that we can look him up, find out what he's all about, and decide whether or not he's somebody we'd be interested in for the state ag commissioner. Myself, this is not Santa Claus. This is Randy Garrison. He's the mayor of Hartselle, Alabama, up off of I-65 going towards Huntsville. Year before last, he was also president of the League of Municipalities. This is Ken Grimes. He's the city administrator for Hoover. Before that, he was the city administrator at Orange Beach. And this is Mike Oakley, who's the mayor of Centerville. Mike is a legend in his own mind. He is a true character, very charismatic. He knows absolutely everybody at these things. And so he's a good guy. And his daughter lives in Chelsea, so they come up this way a lot. Over here, they have these things called municipal marketplace. They'll have vendors who, sell Christmas decorations. They sell equipment like fire trucks and heavy equipment and other things. And we also, I attended a workshop, breakout session. This is Jeff Newton. He's a retired Air National Guard Brigadier General, and Governor Ivey just appointed him the director of the Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs. His sister-in-law is Letty Owen, who lives here in town, Frank's wife, and so he's very familiar with Columbiana as well. But they've got a program going on called Operation We Remember. And what it is to remember and honor Alabama veterans who lost their lives due to suicide. So I signed this up. I've gotten in touch with the American Legion. The city will try to partner with them. The last full year that we have data for, there were 139 Alabamians in 2023 who were lost to suicide. And so the deal is we put out 139 flags in a prominent place in town. I've got one of these signs to put up and whatnot. So yeah, I thought that was a good program that Jeff talked about. So what were some of the major things that we talked about at the meeting? There was a lot of discussion when we had the lawyers and everybody were asking questions about the election. We've got a very knowledgeable election official in Columbiana, and I think we're in pretty good shape as far as understanding what's going on. If you have any questions, we certainly know who you can go to here in Columbiana. But there were a lot of questions about the election. When we had the breakout sessions where you get cities of commensurate size to come together and talk about what are the major issues facing their cities and what do they do, or what are they doing to address them. The number one topic was, for everybody, as it always is economic development. What are you doing to retain business in your towns? What are you doing to attract new business in your town? Talking about incentives and things of that nature in order to make you an attractive place for businesses to come. And again, I think we're pretty much on track in doing all the things that everybody else has done. An interesting thing came up. One of the guys at our table, don't remember his name or his city, unfortunately, but there were a lot of people nodding their head that this was a problem. Some of the cities are having problems with group homes in residential areas, and their primary function is for putting folks in who the court has said, you know, if you go through this drug rehab program and live in this group home, you know, you won't go to jail. And so many of those people really want to straighten themselves out, but not everybody does. They just don't want to go to jail. And what they said, and we need to look this up, and I'm certainly haven't yet going to talk to our city attorney about it, but they are exempt from zoning regulations. So they're putting them in R1 neighborhoods, and the neighbors aren't happy that they've got, you know, a bunch of drug addicts living in the house next door. And they say there's nothing you can do about it, that they're state law, they're exempt. So again, trust but verify. I'm going to check with the attorney and see what I can find out about that. But I thought that was an interesting thing as far as that. The other thing that was kind of interesting, after the last day, they have a business meeting and they elect the new officers for the League of Municipalities, appoint a new president. And when it was over and everybody was ready to leave, the current mayor of Orange Beach came in and hijacked the microphone and told everybody to stay put. He had something he wanted to say. And apparently he and the city council in Orange Beach have personally been sued by their residents 3 times, I think he said. And what he was telling people is said, you better check with your city insurance because your umbrella insurance policy may not cover you if you, as a council or a mayor, are sued, and apparently it's costing them a lot of money. So I tried to, and there was a lot of, you know, whispering, you know, because he was really fired up and upset. Looked it up. I don't know what the other, but the current suit that I read about is they are being sued over a de-annexation, which the plaintiffs, who are the ones who got de-annexed by the city, claim that it violates the state constitution. I don't know any other details about that, but according to the mayor of Orange Beach, they're footing the bill for that out of their own pockets. And so we certainly need to take a look at our umbrella liability insurance and find out, because normally I was under the impression whatever we do as far as conducting, you know, normal city business, unless we're doing something that is truly nefarious, illegal, and unethical, that our liability, we don't have liability that we're covered under the city's umbrella. But he said, take a look at that. I received a letter from the Alabama Department of ADEM. They have approved us a supplemental loan for our sewer treatment, but not for all of it. They're using still fiscal year 2024 funds. My guess is, and I'm speculating, that because of the freeze of so many different funds by the current administration, that haven't dipped in, or maybe aren't allowed to dip into 25 funds yet. But we got, and for whatever reason, they gave us 2, and my assumption is that these 2 loan approvals are coming out of 2 different buckets of federal money. One of them's probably ARPA, one of them's probably BIL, I'm not sure what, but anyway. So one is for $3,239,000 and some change. The other one is $1,236,000. I'll round it. So it's a total of just under $4.5 million. I had asked for 5. I said I think we can get by with maybe 3 to take us to the end of the year. Let's make it 5 just in case. And so they came close to that. And in the meantime, I've reached out to Fraser Lanier, who refunded our city's debt back in 2021, and they have a proposal that they're wanting to give us in a couple of days. Probably won't beat the rates here, but through their magic, it's would help out from a cash flow perspective. In other words, the annual debt service would be less. My guess is it's probably going to be an interest-only type of arrangement for some period of time. But something, we'll see what they come up with. We'll invite them up to come talk to us, and we need to do that quickly so we can get back with 8M on getting the wheels in motion on these others if we want to use option 1 there. Because, we got to figure out how we're going to pay for the debt service. We still have talked about the need for some additional revenue to deal with that. And we need to increase our reserve. And so could be that the Fraser Lanier option might give us an option to do that, build up a reserve, and then we could go back and refinance it again. So anyway, we'll see what they come up with. May 21st, that's tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? Yeah. Chamber Small Business of the Year Awards Luncheon at Grand Hall. May 26th is Memorial Day. Picture there, that's Henry Chappelle American Cemetery in Hamburg, Belgium. My namesake, my Uncle David, is buried there, killed in the Battle of the Bulge. So 8,000 American soldiers are buried in that cemetery, so we owe them a great gratitude. And then Shelby County Mayors Association's on the 28th, and Alabaster's hosting it in their new senior center. So looking forward to seeing that. Questions? Announcements. It's pretty much the same stuff. We had the graduation tonight. We're going to be closed for Memorial Day, and then these are the folks that are going to be. I have seen all of these guys, and I think they're all good. I have not seen Dakota McClurg in the Double Barrel Band. So, but these guys have all played at I think Musical Man before. This Heather Hayes experience is going to be here for the kickoff of Liberty Day on June 27th, and then Easton Corbin will be here for the headliner on Liberty Day, the 28th. Congressman Palmer said he was going to be here and visiting us on Liberty Day, so if you see him walking around, everybody go up, shake his hand, say hello. Last time he was here, we took him into the for those people who had the VIP bands in the Grand Hall, they had to get something to eat and kind of meet, talk to everybody in there. So we'll try to do that again, depending upon what time he shows up. And then the pep rally is before school. I guess that's after school starts, August 15th. Mm-hmm. Any questions?
On June the 7th, we have our tour.
Yes. Okay. That's
Garden tour.
Garden tour.
As much time, we've got several.
I was told 5.
5, yes,
Okay.
we do. Tickets are $20. It's from 9:30 to 11:30. You buy your tickets at O'Neill Square. We'll be set up out there, and the CD has graciously given us some items to put in a goodie bag, and we have commercials to give us some discount things. So
Good.
hopefully that will move everybody around all through the little
People
town
like
square.
free stuff, even if it's worthless free stuff.
Yes.
I don't know if you looked at that side. Kathy and I had our free stuff bags when we were at the league.
But
So-
yes, I did, and I thank God for that.
So, excellent. One other thing. One of the vendors that I talked to at that municipal marketplace is a Christmas decoration place. And I know we have issues every year as we go to put the garlands on the lampposts on Main Street. We have garlands in bad shape. We have to replace it. The lights are burned out, and we need to replace strings of light and everything. This is a company that you can lease that, and they will install it for you. And if it's ratty looking, they just put you new garland up there. So I asked the beautification board to get in touch with them, have them give you some proposals, and then we can talk about it and see if it makes sense for us.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's a challenge for Alan and his guys to put all that stuff up. and then we go to put it up, and this last year, we find out the garland, some of it was in such bad shape, we didn't do all the light posts, the lamp posts. And so, if you go into a lease with these guys, they say, if it's bad, we're just gonna
Yeah, there are so many companies that are doing stuff like that now. I mean, there, a couple of years ago, I had a friend of mine that did Christmas lights. Like, you come to your house, hang Christmas lights up, but now those type of companies have popped up.
Yeah, this guy does the same thing.
It's the same, yeah. I mean, it's probably a good investment for a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
Want to keep involved, a lot, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm like Clark Griswold each year, trying to check every bulb. All right. Any other questions? All right. Comments from anybody?
Remind everybody that, weather service is doing an upgrade of weather radios, so they will not be working tonight, so have your apps and your phone ready. We're also under a tornado watch right now.
Okay. Are the storm shelters open? Okay, I will do a notification for them.
Yeah. Oh, so they extended the thing that Hub put out earlier today was till midnight. So.
Well, then, on that note, I make a motion that we adjourn.